Hey guys, I just wanted to share a couple quick tips with you about the booster board remote. First of which is probably going to save you the most frustration, and that's how to turn off your board and your remote at the same time. So to do that, you just hold down on the jog wheel and press and hold down on the mode selector. As you can see, my board just turned off. The second tip is how to go from pro to expert without having to cycle through from beginner. So to do that, similar to how you turn it off and the board at the same time, you're just going to hold down the jog wheel. I'm going to tap the mode button 3 times. So now I'm an expert, and you can go back up, back down, even down to eco. So this is really useful if you're on the go and you know you need to save a little bit of battery. You can just go down to expert or go down to eco really easily without having to cycle through. So this is more of a writing tip, but it involves the remote as well. So if you're trying to coast, you may notice that when you try to re-engage the motor that you'll end up braking before you start going, and that's because when you start going again, you're hitting the trigger first before you do anything with the jog wheel. So to stop that, you'll want to match the acceleration you were going before by moving the jog wheel to where it was before and then hitting the trigger. So as you can see, if I go full throttle, but if you just do this, as soon as you start, it's going to engage the brakes before it does anything else. So that's usually why you'll end up falling off. Sometimes if you're going full throttle and then you just engage the trigger before you've rolled the jog wheel forward. And this isn't really a tip, but this is more of a mod that I'll show you guys how to do in another video. But this is like a Velcro strap, and this is kinda done a little DIY, so I just kind of taped it down because it was coming off pretty easily. But this reduces fatigue when you have it in your hand. It helps you keep your hand on there, your finger on the trigger, and your remote close to your hand. Sometimes you don't even really have to use the lanyard because this is usually a secure fit. I wear this with gloves, so it doesn't look as snug as it usually is, but that's really useful. And then lastly, this is probably the most useful modification to the remote, and that's this screw that's on this little divot thing on the jog wheel. And this really helps not only if you're using your hand, just your bare hand with your remote and not any gloves, but especially when you have gloves. If you have gloves, you lose some of the feel with the jog wheel, and sometimes it can slip a lot easier, or you don't know if you're going full throttle, or when you're braking, you brake maybe too hard or not enough. So this helps you, get an idea of where you are. If you put this smack in the center, it won't try to go under. This is just where it stops normally. So this is a really helpful mod, and that's about it. If you have any questions about any things I've shown or how to do it, just let me know and I'll respond to your comment. Thanks.